are the fascists. They are the Nazis. And I'm sorry that it's just in my blood to stomp them out of existence. It's in my blood. It's in my DNA. Can't help it. And you know what? I bet it's in yours too. And I bet I'm not the only one that's so fired up today that we know that you have people like Obama and Hillary Clinton engaging in high treason, and all of America should be shouting at the top of a mountain, lock them up. But because of the brainwashing fake news media, they have half the population conditioned into laying down, being soy boys, being soy girls, not fighting for themselves, not fighting for their future, not fighting for the republic, but just doing what feels right in the moment. Well, I got news for you. It's not going to feel right in the end when you lose your country, you lose your prosperity, and you lose your manifest destiny. And without further ado, I bring my heart rate down and bring in Jerome Corsi. Dr. Corsi, I know that you're probably a little more level-headed than I am here today, but I got to tell you, to me, this is all the evidence that we needed. It confirms everything that we reported, and Obama and Clinton and everybody colluding here against President Trump is guilty of treason by my measurement.
Well, Owen, I've been listening to you, and I agree with everything you've said. I think you're right on. And if you feel a little excited about it, I understand that, because we've had the lies for a long time. And what this Nunes memo did is it laid out facts that I know to be correct. I mean, we've written about them. We've documented it in InfoWars. This actually just follows the exact documentation that we've laid out, that the Department of Justice and the FBI lied to the FISA court, and omissions are a lie. And it's their responsibility to tell the truth. They did not tell the FISA court that the entire request to have electronic surveillance on Donald Trump was based on opposition research that had been paid by Hillary Clinton and the DNC, written by Christopher Steele, British intelligence, who admittedly hated Trump, and the FBI knew it. None of this information was disclosed to the FISA court. Without this information, the wiretapping or electronic surveillance would never have been approved. And it's clear that the electronic surveillance, based on this lie, continued not only during the election to rig the election for Hillary, but after the election, through the transition, to try to overturn a duly constituted election and a vote taken by the Electoral College. That's sedition and treason. And even into the Trump presidency, this electronic surveillance apparently continued, based on the 99-page memo that we have from the FISA court, which also rebukes the Department of Justice and the FBI from this. But all the reporting that we've done at InfoWars that Alex Jones has led has in fact now been confirmed by this Nunes memo. And the Nunes memo is, the Democrats don't understand, this is now out of the court of spin. This is not public relations. This is going to get solved by facts and lawyers, and Hillary and Obama and their little treasonous plot are going to be exposed and have to face justice, along with the FBI, the DOJ, and all their co-conspirators.
So would you say that this is really just the beginning?
Again, I completely agree with you, Owen. This is just the beginning. The Senate Judiciary Committee announced tonight it too is going to release its findings on the Fusion GPS dossier, lying dossier, on Christopher Steele and the FBI's use of this. We still have the Inspector General's report to come out with much more information about the text messages exchanged between Strozik and Page, in which apparently they, really discussed a way to overturn the election with this insurance on the Fusion GPS and Russian narrative, which is entirely now a lie, and undermines Mueller's investigation. This is just the first shoe to drop, and to see how far behind the curve the Democrats are, I'm amazed to see Schiff and Nancy Pelosi begging for the release of the report that, that Schiff has written in the House Intelligence Committee. I encourage them to release it because lawyers will go through this. I'll go through it. The factual basis of what the Democrats say is not going to be there to sustain. They can't deny the Fusion GPS dossier was used. We want to see the exact representations made to the Fusion court, which are classified. Let's declassify those too. Nunes and the Republicans saw them, and I trust their report of them. Now, if the Democrats want to lie further, I would really advise Comey to stop tweeting and consult either his attorneys or his psychiatrist.
Yeah, I can't believe what Comey is tweeting out as he's being exposed as being totally corrupt and inept. He's tweeting out like he's some sort of hero, these inspirational messages. It's like, dude, why don't you follow your own advice? But, real quick, you mentioned the text messages with Strzok and Page. QAnon has alluded to perhaps assassination talk being in those messages, but we'll get to that in the next segment. First, though, let's stay with this.
I do want to do that because I think
we will. I promise you we will. But right. I want to get take care of a few more things here before we do that. One, why do you think the Democrats like Booker and Swalwell and Schiff and Pelosi, why are they all rushing to the coverage of Obama and Clinton, who aren't even in politics anymore? They're not in government. They're not in the Democrat Party. Why are they all rushing to their defense?
And again, this is an excellent question. On first of all, the Democrats today are in utter panic, total disarray, total panic. The mainstream media, MSNBC, all of these, and now they've all got to be worried about this again. Operation Mockingbird and being exposed by the CIA, paying them with talking points going out at 4 a.m. So they all say the same thing. Watch it. Flip between MSNBC, CNN, listen to Nancy Pelosi, listen to Adam Schiff. They're saying the same words. This has been an counterattack prepared by the CIA and the Democrats. All they've got left is to try to support and rally the wagons and the flags around Hillary and Obama. That's going to take them down. We've got so much evidence against Hillary's corruption. We haven't even begun into the email scandal and Weiner's laptop, uranium, this whole Uranium One controversy and all the involvement of Mueller there. That's still on the books, being investigated. The Clinton Foundation, Haiti, the robbing of maybe $2 billion, and Clinton and Hillary intervening to support a woman who was charged with human trafficking, taking small children across the border.
Yep.
I mean, this is just beginning. But today was a game changer because now it's entered the legal realm. Now you can bet all the lawyers who are representing defendants are going to file motions to have their cases with Mueller dismissed. Flynn's case, his conviction should be vacated. The indictment against Manafort ought to be vacated. We've got issues with the Fourth Amendment and the fruit of the poisonous tree based upon false applications of the FISA court and electronic surveillance. These people were indicted in cases that use that information. And also, by the way, we're now up to President Obama using this information, expanding the wiretapping, and
getting the daily briefings. Obama was with it the whole way. He knew about it this whole time. I mean, this is the highest levels of government. The office of president, folks, treason. We caught them. I want them all locked up. And keep this in mind. They have been spying on President Trump, having this Russian investigation. Zero evidence still. Over 2 years of spying, no evidence. Just publishes this. Former judge Orr and Comey could be held in contempt of court for misrepresentations. Of course, Dr. Corsi alluded to that in the last segment with us here on The War Room. We're going to put the memo aside for a second and get into QAnon. Dr. Corsi has been breaking that down and covering all of it. QAnon went kind of wild over the weekend and this week with about 20 posts. Dr. Corsi, what is the latest that we're getting from QAnon, and what is your analysis of that?
Well, I want to start with, first of all, a shout out to I've been on this live stream. If you go to at CBTS _ stream, and it's been on YouTube. I've been posting it on Twitter so people can follow us. This group, Calm Before the Storm, at CBTS _ stream, has been running a 24-hour live stream and doing an excellent job. I've been on it all day today. QAnon, I'd like to point out that QAnon has been extremely accurate. On the 21st of January, QAnon, in a post, said a hashtag memo actually demonstrates, quote, knowingly false intel, unquote, provided to FISA judges to obtain warrants. Now, that's it's January 21st. We're here looking at this on February 2nd. QAnon knew from that point what was going to be in the Nunes memo. He also knew how extremely devastating it was going to be. That this was going to memo demonstrates collusion at the highest levels. Memo factually demonstrates Hussein, Obama administration weaponized the intelligence community to ensure Hillary's victory, Democratic victory, and to provide insurance just in case Trump won. That's sedition. That's treason. That's a plan to overturn a duly constituted presidential election. The intelligence community, and remember, this Fusion GPS was an intelligence community created document that involved the British Christopher Steele, who wrote it, who now admits and did admit to hating Trump, was the head of the Russian desk for MI6 in Great Britain, working with our intelligence community, working with the FBI paying him. The Democrats, Hillary's campaign and the Democrats paying Fusion GPS and Christopher Steele to write this lying memo through Perkins Coie, the law firm that represented Obama in the birth certificate. And by the way, Eric Schmidt has some problems. He funded the Fusion. He funded first the CrowdStrike, which was the first to say Russia was involved in the theft of the DNC memos, and then
who won't turn over the servers.
And they won't turn over the servers. And so QAnon was right on saying that this memo shifts the narrative. And now we're going into the legal phase. The Democrats can spin on their tops all day long. But the point is, lawyers are now going to be in charge. And lawyers are going to go after Rosenstein. They're going to go after the others mentioned, even just for the defendants who are being investigated by Mueller. And they're going to get their cases dismissed. There could be RICO charges filed here against these lawyers. The Democrats can spin all they want. But the fact is, we now know that the FBI and the DOJ lied to the FISA court, which is a crime. And so there are individuals within the DOJ and the FBI who are now criminally, I believe, liable.
And they can be held in contempt of court. And you already had Andrew McCabe, which I kind of saw this coming. It looks like Andrew McCabe cooperated and even turned into Tweety Bird when he was being questioned. So it'll be interesting to see how much more information he shares. But real quick, let's go back to QAnon and some other postings where QAnon is talking about the train wreck that was carrying the Republican members of Congress was a false flag. And this is part of the deep state panic right now, doing threats, giving false flags to try to intimidate Trump and the patriots from actually removing the shadow government from power.
Yeah, QAnon predicted we'd have fast flags to try to change the narrative. And I think it, by the way, makes me concerned about the security of the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
It's got to be super tight. But the most recent of the QAnon posts have been saying essentially that warning us that this is, Freedom Day, which we just had this week. Freedom Day is prefigured, but President Trump pointed to the statue on top of the dome of the Capitol, talked about Freedom Day. Yes, the picture that you're posting, which Q pointed to, that train looks like it was rammed by the truck trying to derail the train. And I'm still maintaining that needs to be investigated as a false flag attack. The truck was not hit squarely by the train on the rail.
Yeah, it hit the back end, and you only had one of the three guys in the truck die, which, again, why are three guys in the truck to begin with? None of it makes sense.
None of it makes sense. And, what you're basically getting from QAnon is the two things. One is that President Trump is in charge, and QAnon has been predicting accurately everything about this memo and what's coming next. And what's coming next is ultimately going to lead to sedition and treason charges against Hillary and against Obama. All of the electronic surveillance, we have now proof that false pretenses were used for the Democrats to basically take over the Justice Department and the FBI, and to use it to have electronic surveillance on the GOP candidate, not just up through the election, into the transition. And it looks like even when Trump was in the White House, all trying to get him removed from office in a coup d'etat. This is the greatest, I think, constitutional crisis that we've ever had in the United States, maybe since the Civil War. And this is really testing the democracy. The democracy is only going to be tested if these people are brought to justice. The Adam Schiff spin is not going to save the Democrats now, because it's out of the MSNBC court. The lawyers are going to take over, and the lawyers are going to prove the case.
No, I think you're absolutely right. If you want to talk about saving the democracy, yes, the democracy in the republic is at a nexus point right now, and the only way to save it is to arrest and indict Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and the likes for this treasonous act of trying to overthrow a duly elected president, first trying to stop him from winning, then illegally spying on him, then trying to overthrow him afterwards. And, just real quick, we've got 1 minute left here, Dr. Corsi. Do you think, or will there ever be an investigation into the actual claims made in the Trump dossier, the fake dossier? Is anyone going to try to figure out who made that up, whose idea that was? Because to me, that's blatant libel.
We already pretty well know Christopher Steele made it up, and I've gone.
So it was his brainchild.
Yes, and I want to put you showing.
Was he
pictures.
Drunk when he made it up? I mean, what is that?
Oh, it was so bizarre. I mean, it's so pathetically juvenile. You showed pictures of Steve King and Louis Gohmert and others, including Jim Jordan. These are real heroes, and the other real heroes are the Anons on the 8chans, the Anons on the calm before the stream /__ a stream. The Anons, like in the first American Revolution,
and let's not forget too about
these are the heroes.
Yeah, and let's not forget too about the people in the FBI and the DOJ and the CIA that are actually good people that have been trying to expose this as well. Dr. Corsi, thank you for your great work at Infowars.com. We'll be right back.